Oh, we're live, we're live, we're live. I can't tell what y'all are seeing. This is Mike from Mike's Magic Auto Detailing and Paint Enhancement here in sunny Sharpsburg, Georgia on a fine Monday afternoon. I was going to just shoot a very short, relatively short. I know, you guys say your videos are never short, Mike. I know. It's okay, it's okay. One of the most important things you can figure out or learn when you're detailing or polishing cars, no matter what your purpose, even if it's just doing your own, there's different methods of cleaning pads, which is very, very important, because if you don't use a clean pad after every about a 2x2 section, 3x3, somewhere in there, if your pad's not clean, when you start the next section, you are wasting your time for the most part, and run the risk, instead of taking out scratches, putting in unwanted scratches. So it's very, very important, and I'm going to show and talk about a couple of different methods today. Don't pay any attention to the red bucket. I just got it there to set this camera on in a little while. This gadget here, the black and blue, that's a, I forget who the company is. Lake Country System 4000 Pad Washer. Handy dandy little gadget. Probably a little pricey if you're just doing your own cars and you don't have much of a budget to stick with. But I'm going to talk about deep cleaning them, quick cleaning them, and cleaning them on the fly, as I call it. People talk about different ways, and it's constantly changing. I think because mainly the technology is constantly changing. First thing I'll probably show you guys is this big DeWalt buffer there with the 8-inch backing plate. It's got the wool compounding pad, I call it. Pretty strong machine there. A lot of aggressiveness there. But if you got a badly hammered card and you need to cut it quick, get down to it, that's a beast, and that's what you'll need sometimes. There's different ones, but one of the ways you can kind of clean that pad up a little bit, hey, somebody's watching, is using, here, I showed you guys this the other day, this is a pad spur. I don't think I can do this one-handed. See if I can sit this thing down here where it won't fall over. Yeah, get down on it there. Yeah, I hope you guys can see that. And this pad is a little bit gunked up. It's not terrible. Make sure my backing plate's on good and tight. Here we go. But the way you use this, I hope y'all are picking this up. Let me step back here. Yeah, I think so. I'm just going to do a little bit. What you do is you place this spur on the pad and you turn the buffer on. And that has fluffed it back up pretty good, It's an okay thing to do if you're in the middle of a job and you're in a hurry to just get some of the gunk out of the fibers of that wool pad. Not ideal, but it's okay. It helps fluff these back up and return the cutting power to a certain degree. Now, another way, I'm going to show you this pad washer here. This is as I said, the Lake Country System 4000 they call it. I think the previous version was the 3000. But I went ahead and got it. Like I said, they're a little bit pricey, but for quick cleaning pads and get them nice and soft and clean and ready to roll, and it's a good way to clean your pads, deep clean them, and to quick clean them if you're in the middle of a job and you don't have extra pads like I do. But I only have one of these because these are, I hardly ever need this, but these are very expensive. But what happens is, you take your pad on your buffer and you pump it like that. There's solution down in there, and it squirts up through those holes. It's a special pad cleaning solution. I don't know how special it is. It's called Snappy Clean. But it seems to do a very good job. You mix that, it's a powder. You put 2 to 3 gallons of water in the bottom of the bucket and mix it up, and this will pump it up onto your pad. And then as you use it, it drains down into a blue bucket so that all your dirty stuff, your dirty product, is in here, and it doesn't get mixed up with your clean stuff. And then after you're done, of course, you rinse it out. But the way it works is you just pump some up in there. We turn the RPMs, and you can use your rotary buffer, your DA buffers, doesn't matter. Let it spin around in there like that. What I like to do is give it another couple of minutes. And that's got it pretty clean, folks, pretty clean. And if it's not clean enough, you just repeat. Not clean enough. That's clean enough to, all the product is pretty much gone from in here. That was on here, all the compound is gone, and all I've got left is just the fibers, and that's what you want. You know, it's stained a little bit, but you know, that's going to happen. I think I'll give it one more go. And then you can either hold it out here somewhere and spin it dry as we call it, or you can just pick it up a little bit, keeping it inside this yellow lip, and let it spin dry. Turn your RPMs up so it'll sling all the rest out of it. See, that's pretty nice and fluffy. That's what you want. And I'd be tempted to use the spur again on it and then sit it out and let it dry completely. There's a new school of thought that says, hey, you know, your pad should always be dry, that if you're putting product on a wet pad and then buffing, it's not helping you at all that way, that you should always use a dry pad, which goes contradictory to what I have been taught in the past, is that you should prime a pad. But now they're saying, yeah, you prime it, but you prime it with the product by just rubbing the product into the pad good. You don't use a wet pad, which you can spin them dry like that and they get relatively dry. All the dripping excess water's out, but you still damp. So I don't know, I tried it the other day, and using a dry pad did seem to work better. I don't know. You know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Oh, hey Brandon. Hey Brandon. Yeah, it is kind of clever, Brandon. Like I said, I'm not sure it was worth the money, because before this I used the Scott Blade method of taking them into the kitchen, and I washed them out with warm water and dishwashing soap, and that got them clean, both the wool pads And these foam pads, a lot of people say, hey, that pad don't even look dirty, Mike. It's not real dirty, but you know, and that worked well, Brandon. But it's such a pain to get all that dishwashing detergent rinsed out of those pads. Seemed like it took forever to me, but it did get them clean, but it didn't get them as soft as this stuff does. I like this stuff. I don't know what's in it, have no idea, but you know what, I'll go with the experts and I'll use this. And you get, if you order one of these, you get a couple packs with it, but trust me, you're gonna need, I just went ahead and ordered a whole bag, and you mix that one packet, they say, with 2 to 3 gallons of distilled water. But you know, I'm liking this method. I'm liking this better than the dishwashing detergent in the sink method. And as you can see, I got quite a few pads to wash here. Quite a few. There's a bunch of them in there, folks, all different sizes, all from one project the other day. And you know, the other thing I was taught is you could take a soft bristle brush and hold it on the pad while you spin it with whatever buffer you're using, and that seems to work okay, except I think it works better on wool or hybrid wool pads than it does on foam. I'm afraid that kind of tears the foam up, so I try to stay away from that method. And the other thing I learned recently is oftentimes I will also, after like cleaning that wool pad like I just did, I'll take my air compressor and blow it out, and they say that's a good idea for wool pads, hybrid wool, that sort of thing. But you should not use compressed air on foam pads. I don't know. Well, I'll follow the expert's advice. Who knows? But you know, this pad here, it's not dirty. Heck, I would use this pad right now if I needed one. But I did about a 2x2 section, and it didn't really get too dirty. This one here, as you can see, is a little dirtier, but you just basically repeat that same process with the foam pads as I did with the wool pad. Just kind of pump it up, put some stuff up there. Kind of tell when you're making some good progress, but because you get dirty water, and then when the water's all clean, that's when you can tell you're really making progress. But I'm telling you, that pad is pretty clean right now. Pretty clean, pretty clean. There's some fresh juice up in there. And that, what I like about it is when you're done, it's very soft, Brandon. The pad is very, very soft. It's conditioned, it's ready to go. It's still wet. Now spin it out. Turn the speed up some. This is relatively dry, Brandon. I mean, it's still kind of wet, and you probably want to take, what I would do would be take a microfiber towel and push it on there and let that draw the moisture out, because I think it's still too wet to polish with. but it is very, very soft, and I'd say 90% of the product and the paint that I've, clear coat that I've buffed off that gets caught up in here, I'd say 95% or more of that is gone. It's very soft. It's basically ready to go. I could spin it out a little bit more, but today what I'm going to do, I'll take it off and lay it out in the sun and let it dry, and then they'll go into my pad storage container, which has a lid on it so they don't get wet. But that's a pretty decent way to do it. Pretty decent way. And another method I've seen here lately where you can clean them quickly on the fly. Let me get one that's kind of dirty here. And you can do this. You can see that pad is pretty dirty right there, Brandon. It's got a lot of product and spent clear coat on it. I stick it on the pad here, and what you do is you take a 100% cotton towel, not microfiber. Microfiber won't work using this method. Let me see if I can get in the camera here. And this one works pretty well also. It works better. Like this is all dried out and gunked up. It's been in the bucket overnight. But this is for cleaning on the fly as you go. But if you get a pad that's all gunked up and you want to start a new section, you either don't want to go get another pad or you don't have another pad, which is the case with a lot of people, because as you know, these pads are kind of pricey. You can take, let's see, better turn that speed down a little bit. You can turn this stuff around like that and take this terry cloth towel basically scrub the pad with it. It's not perfect, but you know what? It's good enough where you could continue on if you wanted to. That's just some staining. Those dots are from product, but most all the stuff, the gunk is gone. I got a very smooth face on the pad here, and this will work on any kind of pad, but it must be a terry cloth. And you can see where I've pulled stuff off of a pad. That's where I cleaned a pad. So you know the importance of always working clean. If you're putting a contaminated pad on your paint after you finished one section and you just add product and go to the next section, you're wasting your time and you're probably being counterproductive. All right, folks, I'm going to get back to it there now. Clean up the rest of these pads. I'm curious to see if it's going to clean my glass polishing pad. I don't know about that. I may have to soak that one in something, because that's really hard. I don't know if it's going to work. But yeah, I've got wool pads, Brandon. I've got hybrid pads, all kind of different types. I use all those for cutting, but for polishing I use either the black ones, black Lake Country polishing pads. I've got one, I think it's green, it's even softer, that's basically an application. Oop, I don't know what that's doing in there, that's sandpaper. Or I use these sometimes. That's a Lake Country, I think they call it a hybrid wool pad. You can see it's all gunked up also. It just depends on what I'm doing and how bad the car is. But anyway, folks, I hope y'all sorta enjoyed this. Woo-wee. Yep, there's my shiny car. That's how all them pads got dirty. Fixing that thing up there. For those of you who didn't see it yesterday after I got done. But I'm gonna get back to my pad cleaning. I've got a whole washing machine full of microfiber towels going in the house at the same time. So, but there's all the accoutrements there. I try to use a combination of all the methods, but I'm kind of gravitating towards this one for the time being. I'm not sure if the secret is this gadget or if it's this cleaning stuff. I tend to think it's as much or more this than it is this, although I like this system. It's quick, it's easy, it's convenient, even though it is expensive. This stuff is not too pricey. But anyway, folks, I do appreciate you. Hey, Jeff, you always get here just as I'm signing off, talking about cleaning pads today. Anyway, I appreciate everybody. Like, tag, share, follow, comment, ask questions, and all that stuff. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I will catch y'all later.